Gantas. Another principal aspect of vibrational healing. Tingshas initiate, Gantas motivate. If you think of your vehicle outside, it has all this potential energy, hundreds of horsepower, and it's out there sort of potentially. You get into it, and you put the key into ignition, and you turn it, and all the lights turn on, little things talk to you. That's your Tingshas. It's awake, dimly awake, but it's awake. And then you turn on the engine, you put it into gear, and you start to move. That's the Ganta energy. Now we're taking that energy down paths of intention. This obviously have a clapper. Represents the feminine energy in the Buddhist model of the universe. This is the vessel. This is wisdom. The symbolism in this one instrument alone is so complex and so wildly connected to the metaphors in Tibetan Buddhism, it's impossible for me to go through in this time period. Within the physiology of Tibetan medicine, the body's division is divided into 3 regions. Within one of those regions, there's a secondary region. So if you think from your solar plexus down, from there to your neck, and from your neck up, those are the 3 regions. This area is a secondary area of the center region. Gantas are tuned to regional areas of energy. And you can tell which one they are by reading the inside symbolism. The more petals it has, the higher the chakra, the higher the region, the less petals, the lower. I've seen them from 4 to 36 to give you a range. And there's also a very specific group which has either a 6 or a 5-pointed star using the sacred geometry of those areas. That brings us into the heart. The heart is the liaison between the lower and the upper chakras. It sort of sits outside of us. Connected, of course. There's multiple sizes relating to those regions that I spoke of. This one is very much a lower region. And that isn't to say that might not be useful in some other part. Let's say your heart is lacking the fire of the Kundalini. This resonates with the fire of the Kundalini energy. You would use it over the heart to spark that aspect of itself. Because we're a biosphere, we're interconnected. The Ganta is used to bring up that feminine wisdom, that internal doctor, that physician, to bring it up and define the space. This, whenever it's used, should be used in the left hand. Energetically, that's our receiving side, our feminine side. Energetically, our right side is our masculine side, our projective side. This is a Vajra. Vajra, or Dorje. Dorje is Tibetan, Vajra is Sanskrit. A Vajra represents the masculine energy of compassion. It's never used to strike. It is that energy being defined by wisdom. Symbolically, it is immense, as is the Ganta. It can be used to direct energy. In vibrational healing, we use it to direct energy from weak spots to high spots, to bring balance one way or another. Lay the bindu, the tiniest bit of particle understanding in the universe, over the heart chakra, the liaison, between the left and right side, drawing the energy of the masculine to bring balance to the energy of the feminine, and vice versa. So that finally, when we're working with the instruments will change in the process. And they'll give us a lot of insight, a lot of understanding, and we can actually hear as well as feel the energy shift from pure dualistic opposites to a balance or a partnership. In the tradition, The Ganta and the Vajra are always unioned. They're always a part of each other. If you think of politics in the world today, you can look at the countries that have a great deal of wisdom in the form of education or the form of technology. And if they're wielding that wisdom without compassion, then what happens? I mean, we can look at our own country for that. You can also see a lot of countries with a great deal of compassion and not a great deal of wisdom. They become vulnerable, they become employees, they become part of the system, but on the other scale. It's only with the union of the two, wisdom and compassion. This you'll find always together, unless you find it outside of a temple or a monastery. The monastery or the temple itself is transcendent. It is outside of time and space. So this becomes energy of compassion that we pass through to go into the realm of wisdom. Or if it was by yourself in meditation, you would perceive yourself as the temple. So when you cross the threshold, you're crossing the threshold out of dualistic reality within the tradition. This is an all-powerful energy. Compassion is what's going to bring us out of the dark ages that we're currently in. It is like a drop of water, though, in an ocean of understanding. I live on an ocean, and so if I'm on the shore and a little spray hits me, no big deal. A tidal wave comes and hits me, that's a different thing. It's the same stuff, though. This is compassion that is spread out throughout the universe. It's a spray. But when it's combined with wisdom, the feminine energy, then it's a tidal wave. And then resistance is futile. And if you imagine the sound entering your body, through your mouth, moving down that central core of energy, that is an accumulation of blockages, kind of moving things around. It's a Saraswati path, moving down to the Kundalini energy, the Kali energy that sits at the base of your spine. Kali usually wakes up with an attitude. She's angry, she's fire energy. She moves up towards her consort here in the Soma chakra. It's Shiva. Shiva's calling to her, and she's saying, "Who dares to disturb my peace?" And she moves up with fire, but she moves up through the Saraswati source, and pretty soon she lets go of her ego. She joins her consort in the seat of understanding, compassion, and wisdom again. If you imagine the sound going down that Saraswati river, commingling with Kali energy, awakening her, prodding her, bringing it back up through that course, and then finally joining at the Soma chakra, which is a direct relationship to the pineal gland in your brain. Then the practice is to essentially strike the bowl or sing the bowl, allow it to move in. If you use it in a meditative, mindful way, it opens worlds to you.